Hello, Doug with Abishai Tactical Solutions. Just in the classroom today, doing a little bit of work, and I read a few drills earlier. I wanted to take a couple minutes and make another video. This is in our Concealed Carry Fundamentals or Concealed Carry Basics series. First one we did was on the grip, and the grip is foundational to good shooting, and I see a lot of people struggling with that. So if you haven't seen that yet, go check that out. But today I wanted to talk about the 4 rules of firearm safety. We mention these all the time. We go through them, and many of you probably already memorized them. Hopefully you have. If not, you want to do that. But I wanted to take a few minutes today and just kind of break them down for you. So the 4 rules of firearm safety. All guns are loaded. Keep your finger off the trigger until your eyes are on the target and you're ready to shoot. Never let your muzzle cross over anything you're not willing to kill or destroy. And always be aware of your target and what's beyond it. Now, those are the 4 rules. Most of you know them, but let's talk about why they're important and what they mean. The first rule: all guns are loaded. Why do we say all guns are loaded? Now, I'm going to make this firearm safe. I'm going to remove that magazine. I'm going to, so you can see that firearm safe. That magazine's empty. I'll put that in. When we say all guns are loaded, now you just saw me make this gun safe. Now, why do we say make it safe and not say make it empty? Because the first rule of firearm safety is all guns are loaded. In other words, we always treat them as if they're loaded, even if they're not. Now that's important because it affects the way we handle the firearm, and it is the foundation for the other 3 rules. If you think about the rule, keep your finger off the trigger until your eyes are on the target and you're ready to shoot. Why is that? Because the gun's loaded. If you put your finger off the trigger and you're moving the gun around and you happen to point it in a direction where there's an innocent there, and you can have an accidental discharge. And so that first rule, all guns are loaded, it's the foundation for all the other rules. Treat the firearm as if it's loaded. It's going to impact the way I handle this firearm. When I put my firearm in the safe at night, even if I have made it safe or if I've left it loaded, doesn't matter. When I pick it up the next morning, I always check it. I'm going to check it, make sure of the condition so I know the condition of the firearm. That's the impact of that first rule. It impacts how we treat and how we handle the firearm. Second rule: keep your finger off the trigger until your eyes on the target and ready to shoot. Pretty obvious why that's important. This, as we said, that firearm is safe. So if I point that firearm, until I put my finger on the trigger, this gun cannot fire. Modern striker fired pistols like this Glock 19 are very safe firearms. They're not going to accidentally discharge even if you drop them. This has what's called the safe action system, and even though it doesn't have an external safety, it's a very safe firearm. It has a number of safeties on it. One that it has is a firing pin or striker block, and it is a piece of steel that goes that is in between that striker or that plunger and the bullet. So even if that spring that holds that plunger back, that striker back, would fail and it would come forward, it still can't hit the primer and discharge that weapon unless I press the trigger. And to press the trigger, there's a little lever here on the front of this trigger. If I hold the side of the trigger and try to pull it back, it won't go backwards. Until I put my finger on there intentionally and press that little lever and pull it back, it will not fire. So it's a very safe firearm. Most modern pistols are. And so if you keep your finger off that trigger, this firearm's safe. I don't need an external safety. Here's my safety: keep your finger off the trigger. Third rule: never let your muzzle cross over anything you're not willing to kill or destroy. When we go to the range, we talk about pointing your firearm in a safe direction. Standing behind a table, looking downrange at paper targets, downrange toward the paper targets, that's the safe direction. But in a self-defense situation, out in public, in a 360-degree environment, what is a safe direction? If I get in a shooting incident and I have bad guys that are attacking, I may have bad guys, threats, and innocents present. So I have to practice muzzle discipline. And if I'm maneuvering to engage a threat. I'm not going to let that muzzle cross over an innocent or anything that I'm not willing to kill or destroy. So it's important that we learn to handle our firearm in such a way that we control the muzzle. We control and don't let it point at anyone or anything we're not willing to kill. Fourth rule, final rule. Always be aware of your target and what's beyond it. Being aware of your target means everything between you and the target. Everything between you and the threat. Before I take a shot, I'm going to make sure that that shot is clear. In other words, there's nothing between me and the target. But also, I need to make sure there's nothing beyond the target. The human body may or may not stop a bullet. And so, and another thing, if you're in your home and you are defending your home, someone comes in, you have a home invasion, you're going down the hallway, there's a threat in the hallway, and you're going to fire at that threat. You have to know what's beyond that threat, because if that bullet either misses or passes through that person, sheetrock walls don't stop bullets unless there's something solid in the middle that the bullet hits. A sheetrock wall, a drywall is not going to stop it. So if your child's bedroom is beyond your threat, then you don't want to take that shot. You're responsible for every bullet that leaves the muzzle of your firearm. It's an awesome responsibility. So be aware of those rules. Learn them. Learn to practice them. All guns are loaded. Keep your finger off the trigger until your eyes are on the target and you're ready to shoot. Never let your muzzle cross over anything you're not willing to kill or destroy, and be aware of your target and what's beyond it. If you'll learn those 4 rules and practice them, you'll be able to handle the firearm safely. I want to leave you with this. Of course, I want you to be safe out there. Remember, God loves you. You're the apple of his eye.